So Representative Devin Nunes is not happy with social media. It turns out people are mean to him on Twitter, and he can't stand it. So now he is both suing Twitter and several random social media accounts. So this is an interesting story. Now, this is a complaint that was filed in Henrico County Circuit Court in Virginia on Tuesday. And Nunes, the former representative, is now seeking $250 million in damages. I'm sorry, not former representative, but he did sit on one of the committees that is now, of course, filled with Democrats. So, a little correction there. According to the New York Times, in making his case, Mr. Nunes, a loyal ally of President Trump and former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, repeated several common Republican complaints that Twitter has repeatedly denied. For one, that it censors Republicans, shadow bans their accounts, and actively helps their opponents. So now, this is the more interesting part of this lawsuit because of the, activity of that is considered shadow banning. Now, what is that? In case you might have not heard that term. Well, basically, it's described as the act of blocking or partially blocking a user or their content from an online community such that it will not be readily apparent to the user that they have been banned. So it's a ban, but it's not banned. It's like a soft ban, whatever, right? Your content is not showing up. Your tweets aren't showing up. So he alleges, right? Now, is shadow banning a thing? Look, mainstream media, New York Times, etc. Like, no, it is absolutely not a thing. Never happened. Is it? Yeah, I think it is. There is actually shadow banning. And so, look, let's talk about YouTube. I'm on YouTube right now. This is how, you're watching a video, obviously, on YouTube. In my experience, look, I've had my videos not show up in subscriber feeds. I've had demonetization, blocking of videos, things like that, right? And look, is that a shadow banning? I think it's I guess, the closest thing to that, but I'm going to explain the difference here because what this is actually is algorithms, right? Now, Facebook and YouTube and Twitter all run on an algorithm, right? So now that means humans don't necessarily control it, right? Now you can program the algorithm, you can tweak it, and you can over tweak it, you can under tweak it, you can make it do different things or make it ignore certain content or prioritize other content or certain content over other content, which I think is in the case of YouTube for a while. I believe they put more establishment content at the forefront or more user-friendly or, no, I'm sorry, not user-friendly, but advertiser-friendly content in the forefront. So, yeah, that's the thing. But again, algorithm, they do change and they're used. So now what happened with some conservatives is one of those algorithm changes also produced a bug. That bug made it look like, oh my God, we've been banned, we've been shadow banned, right? Now Twitter said, we fixed that, don't worry. So I went and took a look at Devin Nunes' feed, and he doesn't look like he's blocked or banned or his tweets are showing up. He doesn't tweet very often. In fact, he tweeted a couple of days ago, found this plastic straw in my garden today. Anyone have the number for the straw police, socialists? Well, I can see that tweet. And a lot of his followers. Look, he's got over 300, almost 400,000 followers. He got 22,000 likes on that, 10,000 comments, and some, number of retweets, right? So that's a fairly normal ratio of people responding and tweeting and etc., right? So if you want to claim that, no, I'm shadow banned, most of my followers didn't see that, or maybe they didn't care. There's that other issue on that. So, look, I don't know. To me, it doesn't look like a shadow ban. To me, it looks like you're just not engaging on Twitter very often. And look, it's kind of the same thing with me. I've got a really small Twitter following, at Jeff's Politics, by the way. Very small Twitter following. I don't get a lot of retweets. I don't get a lot of comments, but I don't tweet very often either. So, and every once in a while, I do get a tweet that catches viral. And that's great. Do I think I'm shadow banned on Twitter? No, of course not. But then again, oh, Jeff, you're not a conservative. Only conservatives get shadow banned because Jack Dorsey is liberal and Facebook and YouTube and all that. They're liberal. Really? How come we have a gigantic alt-right presence and conservative presence on YouTube? Kind of weird. But anyway, so look, that's shadow banning, right? So now with that, let's go to the fun stuff. All right. Now, the complaint described objectionable tweets from 3 users as something that, quote, no human should ever have to bear and suffer in their whole life. Really? Have you ever been in a YouTube's comment section? I mean, I can guarantee the comment section on some of our videos, the AOC versus NRA, for example, are about 1,000 times worse than what Devin Nunes is seeing right now that he's complaining about. Now, the complaint says one of the tweets had falsely stated that Mr. Nunes had brought, quote, shame to his family, and that he was voted, quote, most likely to commit treason in high school, and that one of them included a cartoon image of a sexual act between Mr. Trump, and President Vladimir Putin of Russia. Yeah, that doesn't sound like the stuff that I get. I get terrible stuff. And if you're a woman online, and especially if you're doing news, they got it way, way worse. So, but anyway, there's more. The complaint also lists dozens of other tweets that Nunes found personally insulting. Aw. Houston, we've got a snowflake here. I mean, Nunes is out here saying, how dare they insult me on Twitter? Wait, I'm sorry. I thought that's what we do on Twitter. I insult politicians. If so, I am very confused as to the point of Twitter. Seriously, though. No, this is like walking into a casino and getting upset that people are gambling. What do you mean there's gambling in this establishment? Oh, how dare they? Do you know that AOC, she's a politician, representative, she gets attacked constantly from right-wingers. They attack her looks, they attack her intelligence, they say hateful things about her all the time. I'm sure she gets threats, death threats, rape threats, etc., right? So she doesn't complain, though. She's actually not whining about people being mean to her on Twitter. She, in fact, turns it around and goes after the haters. And though some people might have a problem that she attacks and that she goes on the attack on Twitter, I don't have a problem with that. But Nunes and these Republicans, they cry and cry and cry, and then decide to sue Twitter. And it's ridiculous. And by the way, part of this is him saying, well, the people that are against me, they're doing it because they have a political agenda against me. But she's not even, or Nunes is not even suing a Democrat. He's actually suing a fellow Republican. The New York Times explains, Mr. Nunes singled out a woman named Liz Mayer, who was a Republican strategist, who said on Twitter that she would not comment on the lawsuit. Now, this is where it gets confusing. Not only is he suing Liz Mayer and Twitter, but also 2 parody accounts. Now, these 2 parody accounts are at Devin Nunes' alt mom and at Devin Cow. Devin Cow? Really? Apparently it's Devin Nunes' cow. I don't know. I checked it out. It is actually kind of funny. The complaint says that Ms. Mayer coordinated with the anonymous accounts in a, quote, vicious defamation campaign, but did not offer evidence she was behind them or communicated with them, except for one tweet encouraging people to follow at Devin Cow. So, snowflake. Absolute snowflake. I've got no evidence. But I'm gonna sue her anyway. And these parody accounts, because they're so mean, defamation. It's funny. If you see a parody account like I do, why would you not encourage people to follow it? Like a funny parody account. Like I follow Joel Dongstein. I think it's hilarious. Where he replaces God with dick. It's awesome. And I'm a child. I know. But anyway, the whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. And of course it's ridiculous just like the lawsuit is ridiculous. I mean, there's no way he's going to win $250 million. It's insane. And look, here's the reason why, right? The law protects large internet platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube from liability based on what their users publish, right? And also on comments, right? Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act says they should not be treated as the publisher or speaker of the content, allowing the platforms to exist without having to pre-approve every post for potential legal issues. Now imagine if we lived in that world, right? If we were in a world where every platform, social media post had to be approved because the company itself would be liable for what someone on the platform says. You know what would happen? No more comment sections. No more YouTube. This would not exist, right? I would not have a show because YouTube would never approve some of the stuff that I say. I mean, look, seriously, the regular people would end up losing their voice because, look, regular people are on social media. And look, the great thing about social media is that we have removed the gatekeepers in creating content. And in the Devin Nunes' world, in a world where companies were basically punished for what their users upload or users say, we wouldn't have this openness. We wouldn't have the internet as we know it. So, I mean, that's some serious stuff, right? Now, that said, we do have a problem with actual hate, harassment, and death threats and rape, stuff like that. And that is a bit of an issue, right? But nonetheless, Devin Nunes, he just sees political opposition to him or people just making fun of him. And since he's a soft little snowflake, he's like, I can put the gatekeepers back up. I can't handle this. And of course, making the result would be there would no longer be an online community. It would be impossible. So that's a problem. Now, I think that this would be a gigantic abridgment of free speech, right? Now, I wonder if that is the case, if then the Free Speech Brigade will come to the defense of Twitter. I mean, where are you guys? Where's Dave Rubin? Dave Rubin, this free speech is under attack. Come to the defense. Oh, no, he's probably too busy interviewing that Islamophobic Australian politician who got egged. By the way, power to Egg Boy. Now, one more hilarious part to this lawsuit, by the way, and this is the last part, and this is why it's so super funny. It says, as part of its agenda to squelch Nunes' voice, cause him extreme pain and suffering, influence the 2018 congressional election, and distract, intimidate, and interfere with Nunes' investigation into corruption and Russian involvement in the 2016 presidential election. Twitter did absolutely nothing. What? Extreme. Oh, somebody tweeted something terrible at me. Extreme pain and suffering. Oh my God. Again, have you checked my comment section on YouTube? You want to talk about stuff that would make a snowflake melt? Jesus. So, no, this guy is so sad. I mean, extreme pain and suffering from tweets making fun of him. How dare you? How dare you? I want to pull down. I want all free speech gone. I want to destroy it. I want to sue Twitter. I'm such a victim. Shut up, Devin. Shut up. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.